Hello, welcome back to the second part of this video tutorial. In this second part, I'll show you how to create mass accounts in Active Directory using the software again, but this time using the Excel mode. Before we begin, let's go ahead and look at our Active Directory users and computers. And in the first part, we created 15 accounts in this container. I have gone ahead and made a new container called West, and there's currently no accounts in here. Before we actually begin, we need to prepare our Excel file, so I'll go ahead and open that up and introduce you to the rows and columns. As you have noticed, there are 10 rows and a bunch of columns. There are actually 24 columns in total. The first row, which is the description for the columns, is not important to the program. What is important is that you keep the columns in the order that you see it in this example spreadsheet, so leave the order alone. What you can't change in this first row is the description. Let's say you don't want the numbering system here. The numbering is just to assist you in to say that's column 1, column 2, column 3, and so forth. So I'll just leave that back. But you get my point. You can change the first column without affecting the program. Now there are 10 rows, so it's going to create 9 accounts, since the first row is just a description. And when it makes an account, it's going to create, looks like for sample here, it's going to create 4 staff accounts and 5 student accounts. Now the column, there's a total of 24 columns, and each are attributes for the accounts. For example, if we go to one of the accounts, you'll notice first name, last name, display, description, and so forth. In our Wiz mode, you probably remember that none of these were filled in, and that's the beauty of the Excel. Is now that we have the flexibility, we can fill in the cells and have those values filled in automatically for us. So I've gone ahead and filled out the first row completely with all the user attributes. You can go ahead and play around with the program and fill in your own. There are a few columns that I would like to give you more information about. First, if you notice, there are 3 columns that are in bold. These are mandatory, and they are the bare minimum requirement to successfully create the accounts. And of course, this is the login name that they would actually type in and log into, so these should not have spaces in them. And this is the display, is what you would actually see in Active Directory users and computers. You would see them right here in the front of this GUI, and most of the accounts, these are students, so you're not going to see spaces, but most standard you would see, like say John Doe, Sarah Smith, and so forth. So these can have spaces, but again, if they have spaces, make sure you enclose them in quotes. Now this is the OU or container that you want to create the accounts in, and in this case we want to create the accounts in West, so this actually needs to be changed. So I'll go ahead and change it right now, and everything else should be the same. Again, you notice San Jose has a space in it, so we need to close that in quotes. I'll go ahead and copy this field because we want to create all the accounts in the same OU, and that's the beauty of Excel. Let's real quick. And the next column I want to talk about is the manager column. You can assign a manager to this to these specific users here. So for instance, Lucky, you can assign a manager to them. For instance, the first row I assigned myself to be a manager of Lucky. So you can put different managers within these columns. Just copy and paste. So again, what's special about this column is that the format needs to be in distinguished name, and if you've seen the first video, you would know what I'm talking about. So we need to actually find out and put in the correct syntax of the user accounts, and I'll show you how to do that now. Again, if you know it, you can type it in by hand, but in my case, I love Active Directory Explorer, which is a free tool from Microsoft which you can download, or as a convenience you may download that from the website. I'll go ahead and open up Active Directory Explorer, and just to show you real quickly, I can browse and try to find my account under the users container, and here I am. I can get the distinguished name and copy the whole value and just paste it into this field, as you have seen here already. Now the other column that's interesting is column 14, which is the member of, which is a group that the user needs to belong to. In this case, again, the format needs to be distinguished name. So if I go back into my Active Directory users and computers, I've gone ahead and created two groups. One called My Boys and the other one is called Birds. Now to find the distinguished name of these, again, we're going to go ahead and use the Active Directory Explorer, and the same thing. We're going to go ahead and try to find, here it is, My Boys. Get the DN from that, copy that, and the other one is Birds. And here's Birds. I've gone ahead and pasted the values in here. So this specific user, Lucky, he will be part of the group called My Boys and Birds. So he's part of two groups. And you notice that to separate the two, you need to use a space in between the values. And if the value has a space in it, you need to enclose it in quotes. So there's quotes around here, but for Birds, since it doesn't have space, I'll just go ahead and leave that alone. So instead of a comma separated value, this is a space separated value. And all the other columns are self-explanatory, and you can fill them out. They're optional. The other last column I want to talk to you about is the password column. Now in this sample file, you see that I have random passwords, and of course you can easily, let's say, delete that. And if you don't want random password, you just want a password of, let's say, let me in. Of course this is Excel, so you have power and flexibility. Just paste that, and there you go. Once you run this program, all the accounts, all of these accounts will have this password. But I know that most of the time we would like random passwords. So how do we do that? In Excel, there's a function. You can either use, if you're pretty good in Excel, you can use a function and go ahead and use the random function, but I believe that only generates numbers. So if you know Excel, go ahead and you can do that. What I'm going to show you how to do is run another program which I actually found on a web search, and let me give credit to the person who's made this program freely available. You can go to their website and download the program. I've also, as a convenience, made this available on the web, and I can generate the password. Let's say I want a password length of 8. I want to create 9 passwords since I have 9 accounts. I'll generate it, and I click on save, and now it made a file. And here's a file. I just open. I'll copy all, go to my Excel, and paste it. How great is that? That's just awesome. So now we have random passwords. I think everything is pretty much complete. So now I just save it, and now we're ready to run the program. So I'll go ahead and open the program, use the Excel mode. We're gonna go ahead and browse for that file which is on the desktop. And again, just like the first part, we need to verify the values and make sure this is our intention, and it is. So I'll go ahead and click OK. And there's your statistic. And now if we open up our Active Directory users and computers, we'll go to that specific OU, which is West. I'll press F5 to refresh, and there we have it. So we have about 4 staff and 5 students, and where the first row in the Excel spreadsheet had all these values filled in, so all these attributes are actually filled in. You could see the manager, myself, and so on and so forth, and the rest of them I didn't have anything filled in, so of course it's gonna be blank. And again, like the first part of the video, if you want to set the whole folders for them, you can go ahead and select the multiple accounts, properties, and anything can be done through the GUI. You can set the common attributes here, for the home folder, you can go ahead and put in the UNC path and go ahead and type in that variable %username, and then once we click on OK, each of these accounts, instead of having the %username, it'll go ahead and append their actual user account name to the end of the directory. So it will be server1 / home student 03 in this case. And that is how you create multiple accounts in Active Directory. Hopefully this tool will be a benefit to you. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, please visit our website. Thank you.